Okay, welcome everyone to this webinar, which is called How to Use Buffer for Your B2B Business. Now, part of the reason why I decided to do this webinar is because we often hear from clients questions such as, how can I share directly my content to our LinkedIn company page, and so forth. And I think that Buffer not only offers a solution to that problem, but is a wonderful, wonderful tool, especially if you're a small business and you don't already have a social media management tool of some sort. So what Buffer does is that it makes it really easy for you to queue up a base layer of content on your social media networks. And what I would always say to people is that that's a wonderful thing to do, but it has to be a layer. You still have to go obviously on those social media networks and interact with people and reply to people's questions and comments and so on. It doesn't replace all social media activity, but it is a very powerful, strong tool if used well. So my name is Claire Trevien and I'm the Head of Content Marketing at Passle. And if you want to ask me any questions after this webinar, do pop me an email or pop along on our Twitter account, which is Passle. This webinar is being recorded and I'll be sharing it with everybody who's attended it and is absent. So there will be an opportunity to look through this again if you think that I've gone a little bit too fast on anything. So don't worry. Okay. So first of all, scheduling your content on social media is kind of one of the big things that Buffer enables you to do. And these are the social media networks that you can integrate your Buffer with. So there's Twitter, there's Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, but there are also more than that. You can connect different aspects. So for instance, you can connect your personal Facebook profile or your Facebook page or your Facebook group. You could also link your company page on LinkedIn as well as your personal one. You can connect a profile on Google+ as well as a page, and so on. So you have a lot of possibilities there, a lot of choices when you're sharing your content. And this is where they all appear on the dashboard on the side. Notice I've got a few with ticks on. That's because they all belong to the group that I share the content to most regularly, so I tend to have those automatically pop up when I'm wanting to share some content. Now this is what a page on Buffer looks like the most. So again, I've got all my social media networks here. So I've got 2 Twitter accounts here, Facebook page, 2 LinkedIn, Google, and another newer Twitter account. And those little numbers represent how many are in the queue. So this one's got 0, for instance, but this one's got 112. So, and this is the queue. So you can see there's little headers here, content, analytics, schedule, settings. If you're clicking on content, this is what you see, which is your queue of content that's being scheduled to go out. So for instance, at the time of the screenshot, I had something going out at 8:15 p.m. that day, and then something else the next day at 12:19 a.m. I'll talk a little bit more about why those times were selected later on. But for now, I just want you to get a little bit of a feel that this is kind of what it looks like. That's one view that you could choose, which is the list. You can also have it in a calendar format if you prefer to look at things in that visual way. But I personally prefer looking at it as a list. So this is what it looks like when you're creating a status. So at the moment, the 4 that I've ticked here, they're all turned up highlighted here, but I could untick them very easily by just clicking on them. This is where you'd write your status. You could add your link, which will get automatically shortened. So if you've got a really unruly URL, it will automatically be a buff.ly sort of URL. I'll talk a little bit about that later on too. It looks a lot tidier and you can actually track the clicks, which is quite important. Then you can add a photo or video, create an image. Again, I'll talk about that later. And you can then either add it to the queue, or which means that it'll go at the back of the queue, or you can ask for it to be shared next, or you can even schedule it for a very specific time if you want to. So if it's seasonal, you know, like for Christmas or something, you can schedule something to appear on the 25th of December, and you don't have to be checking your Twitter account on Christmas Day, which is a bonus. And you can also select Share Now if you want it to go out straight away. And if you click Select None, all of these, by the way, just become unhighlighted, which is quite nice if you've got a lot of them. So I'm just going to show you a quick GIF here to show you how easy it is to create a post. You can be on any page, and all you have to do is click Alt+B or Option+B if you're on a Mac for this little buffer window to open. So that's what I've just pressed. it thinks about it, and then whoop, this pops up. And it comes up with the title and also the link here, so as a Buffly, and you just have to upload your image. So it's really nice and simple. What you have to do to be able to do this is just install the Buffer extension. So that's like a Chrome extension type thing. It's free, it's really easy, and once you've got it there, you don't have to worry about it. I'll show you later how it happens if you do it in a different way, but that's the main easiest way really to create a piece of content that will be added to your queue. So here I'm just showing you could do it a different way. So sometimes I like to copy and paste the content that would have gone out in a tweet and then bring it over to the buffer queue. There's faster ways of doing this, but this is the way that I like to do it. So I'm a creature of habit sometimes. So here I've just edited it. So I'm adding a hashtag. I've unselected the Google, the LinkedIn's, etc. And an image gets brought up automatically here that comes from that link, and you can select it, as I have done, or you can ignore it. You can share up to 4 images with it if you want to, which is nice, but I'm just selecting one. You can add some extras by clicking here too. So yeah, so that's how it works. It's really nice and easy, and there it is at the top of my queue, ready to be shared. And this is how you could create a post. So for LinkedIn page, so I click the button on the extension here, for instance, and so the same composer comes up again. So I'm unselecting everything apart from our company LinkedIn page. I'm just editing it slightly, because we're Passle, it seems a bit silly to say via Passle. And I could replace that image here if I wanted to. And then here I am selecting where I want it to go. So share next or add to queue. I'm adding it to the queue. And there we go. So just in a few clicks, I've added content to our company LinkedIn page without any trouble, without having to leave that page or anything else. I could have pressed Alt+B as well if I wanted to. No problem. So that's that solution for those of you who were asking how you can share content directly from a page. And just a quick GIF here just to show you how easy it is to edit posts. So at the moment I'm just tinkering with one, adding hashtags, selecting pictures. There it is. If you hover over any post as I'm doing there, you can see there's the option to move to the top, to share now, to edit, or even to delete. So there I'm sharing now. And this little thing that's highlighted when I was, we'll just wait till it goes back again to the queue bit. So just adding a Twitter handle. So yeah, these are all the pictures that come up with that link when you could just click on them to select them. Okay, so this little bit here, if you press and hold on it, you can move that, that post into any order. So if you want to rejig an order, that's one way in which you can do that. It's really nice and easy again. Now, this is the bit that I really love, is obviously you want to share lots of content, but maybe you yourself don't have enough, or you want an easy way to have it all be on Buffer. And one way of doing that is to add RSS feeds. So Buffer gives you that option. You can add, I think, up to 15. It probably changes depending on which pricing plan you are on. And for instance, you can add a Passle feed. So this is the address for it at the top. And this is the one for the company Passle blog, which is blog.passle.net. So this is the little code at the end that you have to add. If you've got a Passle and you don't know what that little code is, just email me and I'll let you know what it is. And so here I am, for instance, here, typing it in. It comes up, B2B content marketing. And you can view either all of the RSS feeds here, or you can select just that one, as I'm doing. And then you can very easily add any of these to your queue. So you just select the ones that you want. So I'm just adding a few things to it, adding an image, and then I'm adding it to my Twitter queue. That's the one that's selected, and off it goes. So yeah, it couldn't be easier. It really is just typing that address with that code, and there we go, it pops up. And I've got lots of other ones like Peg Fitzpatrick and social media strategy and so forth. Lots of interesting people like the business to community one. So I'm not just sharing Passle content, and you don't have to either. If there are a lot of useful blogs out there that you think your audience will be interested in, then it's worth adding their feed to. So that's that option. And the other thing that's worth mentioning as well is that you can invite your team to take part in Buffer and contribute content too. And you can give them different, I suppose, seniority levels. So you can make it so that only 1 or 2 people can approve which of those suggestions end up in the queue, or you can make it very egalitarian. That's completely up to you and your type of business. Again, depending on the pricing plan, and I'll show you that at the end too, you can have a certain amount of people that are part of that team. On the plan that we're on at the moment, we can have up to 5. So this webinar is also quite useful for them too, I hope. And so, yeah, so it's a wonderful thing because you can have a whole approval system in place, but you can also invite people who are maybe from different areas of your workplace to all contribute to the company voice, essentially. That's that. Oh yeah, and the final nice little thing is you can actually shuffle your queue as well. So if you feel like you've scheduled a lot of things in a row that are a bit samey, and you just want to add a little bit of randomness to the whole experience, you can just press that shuffle button and it will shuffle the top 200 into a different random order. So just spruces things up a little bit. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the scheduling times and all that, because you're probably wondering why I had all these specific times for when each status is coming out. So in the schedule section, you can decide how many times a day and on which days as well your content is going to go out. So these are the times, for instance, that I've got for our company Twitter, and these are the days of the week on which they're coming out. But it's very easy. You could select Saturday and Sunday if you wanted to, or you could make it only go out on one day a week. It is very flexible. The other important thing is you can choose the time zones. So if you happen to, for instance, be living in a country that's different from the one that you are marketing yourself at, then you might want to choose a different time zone and make sure that it's actually going out at the right times for them. But the wonderful thing about this section is this little bit at the bottom, which says, want Buffer to optimize your schedule? Try our optimal timing tool. This is great. I'm just going to show you, but basically what it does is it looks at your best performing times and it suggests a new sort of timetable really for you, and you can replace your current timetable with that one if you want to. So I'm going to show you the GIF. It's fairly fast, so that's why I'm explaining it now in advance. So there you go. Here I am clicking on Optimal Timing Tool. I've selected Passle Twitter and the number of times I wanted to have posts. And it's calculating the times and it's telling me these are the best times. So I'm replacing the existing schedule. And ta-da, there it is. So yeah, very, very easy. Recommend it. Okay. Next, I want to talk quickly about images and Buffer. There's lots of really cool things you can do with that. The first is very basically that you can add any image that you already own in this. You just have to press this button here and it will come up with the folder, or you can drag it if you've already got it somewhere else. Just make it hover over that and then it will appear. So it's very easy. You can replace existing ones. This is like a LinkedIn update, for instance, and it has an image preview there, but you could replace it very easily if you wanted a different one. So it adds a lot of flexibility. So that's the basic one. Yeah, here I'm just going to show again what happens sometimes when you share a link and it's a video is that it comes up with a default or a blank, so it's nice to replace it. So here, for instance, I've taken a screenshot of a video, and so I've replaced the image there. Instead of it being just our logo, it gives you already much more of an idea of what's in the content, so it's much better really to do that. So that's that for LinkedIn. And then the other wonderful thing that Buffer does is that it lets you create images with a lovely tool that they've got, which is called Passle. And this is where you can find it on your normal dashboard. You can also find it here when you're creating a post. You'll say new, create an image. It doesn't say Passle here, but that's what it is. And what Passle is it's just a very, very simple image tool. You can create text over it, and I'm just going to show you how it looks. So we're inside Passle at the moment. This is also the website address. You can go to it. It's free. Anybody can use it. So here I am. I've copied and pasted some text from a blog post. I can choose a different font if I want to. I can make it bold, italic, bigger, left aligned, etc. So I'm changing it there to left aligned. You can sort of make it a bit less squashed. And there's a whole bank of images on that left-hand side, but you can also type in a keyword, like I'm typing in sales at the moment, and it's come up with a few suggestions. So here I am swapping them. And I'm going to put in another one, social media. Let's come up with a few options. And once you actually have that image, that's not the end of the story. You can also put in all sorts of effects on them, which we'll try out in a second. You can also put the size differently if you want to, so it's suited for Pinterest, for instance. And you can insert logos or graphics. Okay, so here I am changing the, so that's a heavy contrast, that's a heavy blur. You can put a tint on it. Really useful if your brand is associated maybe with a particular color or a particular thing. This might help you sort of keep that consistency. And it really takes just a few seconds for you to do that, so it's just great. And once you're happy with it, you just scroll down to share and download. You choose which one you want, and there it comes up. It comes up with the quote automatically. So what I've done is I've just popped back to the original post, picked the URL, and now I'm just adding it in. And now I can just edit that post a little bit. As you can see with the link, it's automatically brought up the image that's associated with it, which I could pick too if I wanted to, but I'm just going to keep to the Passle image because it's more effective, I think, in this particular case. So here I am quickly typing something, realizing I've used social selling twice, deleting it, and just adding it to the queue. And there it is. It's just added straight away to my social media queue for that particular Twitter account. And it took no time at all. So that's Passle. It's rather good. Then, oh wait, before I move on to the next one, I hope you all know what GIFs are. I'm sure you do. And there's a wonderful library called Giphy. And if you want to use any GIFs and attach them to a Twitter account, just go to Giphy and save it as an image. So that's what I've done. I'm on Giphy, saving King as a GIF to attach to an image, to a post that one of my bosses has written, and I'm sure he'll be very pleased that I've chosen such a handsome turtle king. I think it's a turtle. I'm not entirely sure. I'm sorry. But there it is. It's uploaded and it's attached. So you can post a GIF. I would just say don't choose a super long GIF because I find that Buffer struggles a little bit when it's too big a file. So try and pick a nice simple one like this one, like this strange creature who is wonderful. Anyway, that's what happened when you type king into Giphy. Okay, next, analytics. That's another thing that Buffer really has in its favor. It's got really clean analytics, which you can export really easily. And actually, they've redone it recently, so this is a very new screenshot, and it's really pretty now, I have to say. So they've got lots of different sections now. So they've got the top post one, which shows you your top 10 posts over the past 90 days, and this is specific to that Twitter account. So it will be different for each of these. And I can export it as a CSV or as a PDF. So great if I want to share with the rest of my team. And in the post section, it shows you all your recent posts, and you can look up which ones were most popular, including the ones with most retweets, most likes, most clicks, which ones were the least popular. And again, you can export. So it's really nice to sort of look through it and see how your content has been performing all in one place again, without the messiness of some other social media management tools, in my opinion. And this is new. This is the activity section as well, which shows you how many retweets, favorites, mentions, and clicks you've had over the past 19 days. Again, you can export it, which is great. And I love this new section about post types, which tells you, for instance, here, 58.5% of your posts contained an image, which is cool. I had no idea, so it's nice to get those kind of statistics. And this I love, also new, it's the influencers section. So as you know, influencer marketing is quite a big deal these days. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of content, and having your content be shared by the right people can have such a phenomenal effect on your reach. So it is important to work out who your influencers are and find out how you can reach them, really. So this shows you influencers who have recently followed you, but you could also select one of these, such as accounts that follow you but you don't follow back, or influencers who have recently engaged with you, which is great. And then at the bottom of that same page, you've got also a section saying, see who's sharing your content. So you could type in your blog or your website URL and it'll come up with 5 top sharers. I've blurred them here for their anonymity. And you could, you could view the tweet, you could follow them, you could write to them and say, thank you so much, and reach out to them. You can also find influencers on your top keywords here. You can just enter maybe a hashtag like B2B marketing and just see who are the top 5. So really useful again. Okay, miscellaneous. These are just a few other things about Buffer that are great. So I've mentioned the link shortening before. So the default one that Buffer does is buff.ly, and that's available on all accounts, including the free one, which is great. So it does track the number of clicks that you get. But if you have a preferred one, like if you've been using Bitly for a long time, for instance, you could use that instead and just connect it with it. So that's great. It's also integrated with Google Analytics, so you can enable campaign tracking and so forth. And I believe that's the next slide. Yeah, Buffer is integrated with so many apps. These are just a few. I'm just scrolling down them. We use a couple. One of them, for instance, is called Starterfire, and it's integrated seamlessly with Buffer, and it means that whenever somebody clicks on one of our links, particularly if it's an exterior link, so one that doesn't go back to our own website, you can still get some of that traffic back to you because a little, well, there it is, that's Starterfire. A little handy box on the right-hand corner comes up saying shared by Passle, and with 1 or 2 pieces of recommended content. So that's a really nice way to sort of get traffic back to you, and you don't have to think about it once it's installed. So, but as you can see, there are many, many more, and one of these will probably be perfect for you and your business. And then last but not least, the pricing. So when I started working at Passle, we started off with Awesome, which is pretty good. You can do quite a lot. You can schedule up to 200 posts with it, and you get most of the benefits apart from the social analytics, and that was kind of the clincher because I did want to have better analytics. So we've moved on to the small pricing plan. But I mean, there's still plenty that you can do on the Awesome one. Pinterest is only available if you're on it. You can't have that on the free account. Free account is a bit more limiting. You can only schedule 10 posts. So it's a bit more hands-on for you, really, because you've got to keep an eye on it a lot more regularly. You don't get the RSS feed option as well, which is, I think, a big shame. And then there are, of course, much larger ones, which makes sense if you're in a much bigger company. But for us as a startup, small is pretty perfect. So yeah, that's kind of a quick run through Buffer and all of the things you can do with it. So I hope that gave you a good taster of it, and do drop me a line if you have any questions, and you can follow our company blog, blog.passle.net, for insights about B2B marketing in general. Okay, on this note, I shall leave you. It was lovely to chat. Bye.